to do some sketchy shit. Do-da, do-da, hope I get away with it. Oh, do-da-day.
Good evening, folks. I'm Dan Hollifield. Welcome to Last Man Standing. I am flying solo on a rocket cycle tonight, so, this may be a short one. For those of you who I have not bragged about it to already, my novel, Disposable Man, just came out a week ago. I've already made $20, and I'm doing real good compared to other stuff I've done in the past. So we're, for a couple of years worth of work, I'll take what I can get. People do seem to like it. Still waiting on Lucas and Spielberg to shoot me a check for a movie deal, but they probably wouldn't tell the stories the same way I do anyway, so maybe it's better this way. Disposable Man is the prequel to the already published novelette, Abducted. That's been out for several years now. I don't know why I keep tending to write things in reverse, but I do. I'll start with the ones that are lots and lots of fun, and then the characters will grow and grow and grow, and then I have to turn back around and write what came beforehand and how they got to where they were when the already published story started, and then continue on from there. Evidently, I need to write more Spaceport Bar stories because that's in demand as well. And then I've got a steampunk story that's about 70% finished that I'd like to put out in novel form. I did so much playing with it. The concept was quite grandiose when I started, and I've realized the first two parts, that's basically world building stuff that I need to know that wouldn't be fun for an audience to read. So we'll just get on down to the action part that will be fun to read. And then, see, also in the lineup is the fantasy story that I've been working on. Uh, quite ready, actually, to get back to it, although I'm doing a lot of um, household repairs and working on my um, barbecue pit outside. And well, it's not really a pit. It's a slab of concrete that I've got a cast iron stove on and a regular charcoal grill that I pretty much built myself out of concrete blocks and other stuff, so I can have two things going at once. Um, that's almost ready. I mean, I've been having hand cramps for the last 2 days because I was messing around with the stovepipe for the cast iron stove, trying to put all that together and get it ready to. Uh, I've already done a first fire where it was nothing but a fire. Nothing got cooked. And now I'm about ready to try and figure out what will be the first thing that I cook. And I have yet to decide. Really, it's one of those things where I could do this, I could do that. I've got 8 or 10 recipe books if I want to get fancy. Um, but as Cowboy Kent says, you can't get full on fancy. And my Dutch oven does not have a flat lid, so I can't pile coals on top of it and heat something from the top as well as the bottom. But as long as I can figure out a way to have it just sit on the cast iron stove, I could do all kinds of things with that. Uh, wouldn't be biscuits, wouldn't be any kind of pie. Um, couldn't do cornbread. Of course, I can't do cornbread anyway. So um, don't get me wrong, I love cornbread, especially a day or two old and crumbled up in a glass with lots and lots of buttermilk and a big chunk of cheddar cheese. That does seem to go together really well. Um, that's something I grew up with. So, blame my East Tennessee upbringing on that one, but it's a way to keep from wasting cornbread. I thought about doing a pot roast. Um, however, you've got the same problem of uh, how do you get the top browned without just continually rolling the roast over. Uh, I do have something I could use to hold the heat on the top from the surface of the oven. It's not pretty, but it looks to me like it would work. And then if I ever wanted to do anything that was smoked, that would be over on the charcoal grill with either apple or hickory or oak charcoal, and or all three. Doesn't matter. I've got lots of firewood cut for the cast iron stove. It has to be cut small enough to be fed through one of the stove eyes because there is no door to open up and feed the fire from underneath. But it can be done. It can be done. Um, I just can't make up my mind what I want to do. Thought about cooking a pot of chili. Uh, Dutch oven worked fine on that. Regulating the heat, I probably still need to practice on stuff for that so that I can get it correct. I've got thermometers to check and see if stuff is getting cooked, and I've got what may be a way to check the temperature of the fire itself without ever having to um, open a lid of a crock pot, or not crock pot, a Dutch oven or whatever, just for the basic fire. Um, but there's not much way to get in there and scoop coals out to cook on the ground, uh, like Kent does. And you know, campfire cooking is not something I have done an awful lot of in my time, but I have done some on certain camping trips, and once did um, squab over a campfire, and the rotisserie was made from a tree branch that had just been um, harvested after a deer or another camper broke it almost totally off of the tree that it was on. Just a little bitty thin thing. Um, and yes, I always cleaned up after myself. Um, we there's not that many people that I went camping with that are still with us these days. Can think of one guy, and that's about it. He and I are the last of that little group of friends. There've been several unfortunate misadventures that led to the passing of some of our best friends from that time period. Um, some of them were medical misadventures, and some of them were traffic accidents, and some of them were house fires and things like that. Um, all very, very unexpected and caused we who are still with you a great deal of grief and heartache. That that's life. You've got to get used to people being mortal for various reasons. It's not their fault. It's not like they made a choice. It's just unfortunate things happened. Now, enough of the depressing stuff. Yeah, I'm almost ready to start cooking on the cast iron stove. I promise I will mow the yard so I can show a little bit of the background and not just have the camera pointed at the stove all the time. I'm trying to research the best kind of video camera to use for that, possibly one with a remote microphone so that I could Bluetooth my voice to the camera recording instead of just stand out there and talk real loud and look like an idiot. Um, and how close can I actually get the camera to the fire without melting something on the camera? I don't know yet. This is all new territory for me. Uh, I tried to do a cooking video in the kitchen and couldn't figure out how to get the camera to record because it wasn't like the last video camera that I had. You just push one button and there you go. This one, there's a whole combination of steps. I eventually figured some of it out, but I don't know if it's going reliably. I might have to do one of those, do an intro recording and then pause it and watch the playback to see whether or not it actually recorded anything. And if it did, hit record again, the correct sequence, and go from there. Because once you do get it started, it'll automatically break up the video into, I think it's 12-minute chunks, and I've got to edit all that together, and I'll have to put my own music in there. Think I picked out a theme song already. It's something I've already written. That way I don't have to waste a day that I could be cooking or working, sitting here composing more music. Although there has been demands for me to put out another album too. Everything's coming in its own time. We'll get there. Let's see. Well, I'm still alone. We are, what is it? 17 minutes in. I am really running out of things to monologue about. So let's cut to a couple of adverts and see if anybody shows up in the meantime. If they do, we'll continue the show. If they don't, I'll run the bedtime story and go to bed. It's almost midnight my time, so we shall see. Be back with you in probably 4 minutes. Enjoy. In the early days of the Korean War, an underage boy ran away from his family's farm in West Virginia to join the Army. He quickly transferred to the Air Corps and became a fighter pilot. Somehow, he became useful to several alphabet agencies, so he was recruited to help them during the Cold War. Eventually, he got tired of being a spy and tried to retire. Fate had other ideas. These are some of the early adventures of Captain Tom Darby of the U.S. Army Air Corps. From before that fateful night, he rode his motorcycle around a curve too fast on a back road in rural Georgia and accidentally began a new life entirely. Yeah, as I said before, um, those two ads are in continuity order, not publication order. Disposable Man leads directly into Abducted. Matter of fact, the last sentence of Disposable Man is the first sentence of Abducted. And it's amazing how that worked out that way, especially since um, when it comes to writing styles, I am a pantser. Cannot plot things out ahead of time. I mean, I have a general outline of what I want to happen, but as far as the details and specifics, uh, the characters tell me what they're doing, and I take dictation. So yeah, that's about as close as I can get to uh, being a professional. Although I technically am because I do get paid for this stuff. Not a great deal. I mean, there's not many writers that get paid a great deal of money. Only a few that have been at it for a long time and they work very, very hard and turn out very, very good work. I am not at that. No, excuse me. I'm not at that level yet. Um, I do turn out good work. It's kind of, I have to wait on the story to come to me. I can't force it. That's why the fantasy book has been delayed for so long because I tried to force it and the characters stopped talking to me, so I don't know what they're doing. Far as I know, they're still walking through the forest, avoiding the enemy's soldiers and trying to preserve the element of surprise. We'll see when they start talking to me again. And they've already whispered a few things, so that's going good. The Spaceport Bar stories, um, I have to see the scene in my head before I can start writing it. And those are basically um, short to middling length stories. And once again, I cannot churn those out like clockwork because nobody knows what's going to happen. And then I get told about it by one of the characters, and I can go from there. Um, this is maybe an unorthodox way to work, but I know plenty of people that do work that way. And it does mean that no, I don't sit down and write every day. I've just retired from my day job, and now I have time to do that. But I've got a lot of other stuff I've got to get done as well. Uh, if Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So we've got household repairs to do. I've got to finish up with the barbecue patio and a little bit of yard work, and then I can start cooking out there and doing videos on the. It's not exactly a separate channel, but it is a separate playlist, and it's called Captain Dan's Outdoor Cooking. There's already two videos in there. One of them here on StreamYard, and one of them was recorded outside and directly uploaded to YouTube. But both of them are on the playlist. I mean, uh, basically, in the one that was recorded on StreamYard, all I really wanted to do was introduce myself and give people a rundown of what I hope to do and what I had accomplished up to that point. And the other one is when I had enough stovepipe to where I wouldn't be breathing smoke constantly and decided I'm tired of waiting. I'm going to build a fire in the cast iron stove, even if I don't cook anything. which is exactly what it turned out to be. I didn't cook anything. I mean, seriously, um, it was fun. I sat out there trying to figure out how to use the camera. Um, had a nice fire going. At first, there was a lot of smoke, and then finally, when it got hot enough, there wasn't any, but you could see the heat coming out of the chimney. Well, I've got to finish putting the chimney together. I guess that's going to be about a day, well, a full day's work putting that together because I've got to make sure that the stovepipe is uh, supported horizontally as well as vertically outside the barbecue grill. Now, the reason I didn't just go straight up and drill a hole through the tin is because that would have put more heat from the fire that's going through the chimney closer to the wooden rafters of the building, and the tin roof that I was able to afford is corrugated, and that would be very, very difficult to seal effectively. So I'd have rain dripping in on the stove and causing the stove to rust, which I do not want. Although I'm real excited about actually getting out there and doing a little bit of cooking. Um, I'm no stranger to cooking. I have been learning stuff as long as I've been alive. My grandmothers, my mother, my aunts and uncles, my dad, even my little brother has taught me a few things. Of course, he uses a gas grill. So I don't, I've never bought a gas, a, propane grill. Um, might be something to look into, but then while I know I can cook on a cast iron stove and handle the charcoal grill at the same time, I don't know that I can spare enough time from both of those to throw in a gas grill as well. It'd have to be um, a really deluxe and complicated meal for me to be making that effort. But yeah, as I said, I can use uh, the charcoal grill to be smoking stuff, um, chicken, um, maybe some ribs or something like that. I can use the cast iron stove to be a constant heat source, to be just like cooking in the kitchen, except I still have not had enough experience with the stove to be able to control the temperatures as precisely as I probably would need for that. Um, experience is coming. The more I do, the better I'll get. The more things I try, the more things I will learn how to do correctly. Even if I had screwed up the first time or the first 5 times, by the time I get past that, I will have figured out this is what I need to do. This is how much wood I need. Um, this is the correct temperature to see at the stovetop to make sure that this cooks. This is where I need to put a little bitty oven rack underneath the frying pan or the Dutch oven or whatever to get it up off of the oven just a little bit. Uh, It's all going to be a learning experience, and I'm going to have a lot of fun learning. I always have a lot of fun learning. Um, well, almost always. There are exceptions when you have to learn that so and so can't be trusted. That's not fun, but it's valuable. Learning experiences have value, whether they are learning something uh, unfortunately negative or positive. Thank you, Joe Dog. Um, yeah, I'm doing it solo for a little while. Um, I don't know. I won't be sitting here monologuing for 2 hours, but I've already run my mouth for 32 minutes. We'll see. I'm almost out of things I really want to say. Um, oh, here's a good one. We'll make our friend Dawn roll over in bed and look for her Ronan Martin's laugh-in sock. Excuse me, my brain refused to give me the names of the gentlemen of the program that I grew up with. Getting old sucks. Yeah, Dawn actually found one of those sock puppets that looked like it was straight out of that little video clip. Oh, she's a sweet girl. Um, having a few pain management problems because of her health. I hope that that will ease on up, but you know, not in anybody's control whatsoever. Oh, 34 or 35 minutes. I'm running out of stuff to talk about here. Um, most of it you've heard before or you've seen before, and I don't want to bore anybody, but so much to do and no place to hide. I got a lot of work to get done tomorrow. I've got some hardware shopping I need to do tomorrow. Um, I was invited to go to a baptism at my wife's church. I think I'll have to decline that because there's no way I can get enough sleep and get up in time to do any of that. We've got a whole lot of busy stuff to do the rest of the week. Um, we just got our taxes done. Um, got some sage advice from my CPA. We're going to go, I think it's Wednesday, and go see a lawyer to have some wills drawn up. Because, well, she may be a sweet young thing, but I'm getting along a little bit. You know, I want to make sure that she's taken care of in case anything happens to me. I mean, I could go out to the mailbox tomorrow and some idiot driving too fast on this road could be spinning sideways and pretty much ruin my day forever. Um, already come close enough in several traffic accidents where I should have worried about this whole lot sooner. But with the way the laws are changing and all the all the people at the church saying, "Hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, you got to get this done. They'll come and take your house away." We don't own anything on the house. And Georgia is one of those states where even if there's no will, the wife inherits everything automatically. We're going to make sure that there's no doubt whatsoever. Anything happens to me, she gets the house, she gets the land, she gets the ability to go into my bank accounts. We have one joint account. I have several separate bank accounts because we've only been together for um, basically, we'll celebrate our 20th anniversary, I do believe, this year. But I had to establish bank accounts much, much, much earlier. I think I got my first checking account and savings account when I was about 18. Well, that was 50 years ago. Since I married Lindsay, we put together a joint savings account. It doesn't have a very good uh, interest rate on it. We may look into um, just leaving a token amount of money in there and getting her a high interest savings account uh, of her own, well, of our own, so I could put money in it. And we just take most of the money that's earning 35 cents a month in interest and see if we can't put it in something that'll earn 3.5%, 4%. I mean, when I was a kid, I had a savings account that was 5.25%. Uh, I do believe that's been closed out. Wouldn't that be weird if I still had, I don't know how much, in a savings loan at 5.25% that I haven't touched since college? That'd be another 50 years worth of interest there, but I doubt seriously that that's the case. Otherwise, I'd be getting a monthly statement in mail, wouldn't I? Well, there is no monthly statement. So, um, yep. And let's see. Uh, Dentist appointment, lawyer. Um, I'm sure there's some stuff for our church group that's going to be going on the rest of the week. Um, Thursday night, stupid o'clock, last man standing, starting again. And then Friday night, green room. If you're not a part of Uncle Carl's secret humor group and have access to the green room, it is not recorded. You will never see it unless you're actually there. Shenanigans do ensue. It's quite entertaining. But nobody there wants it recorded. It's just us relaxing. Sometimes it's just people telling jokes and making each other laugh. Sometimes it's somebody needs to talk and it turns into a therapy session, more or less, group therapy. Um, Sometimes it's just let's push the button and see what happens, and we'll just have a few drinks and have some laughs and see what each other's doing in their spare time with the hobbies that we've all got. highly recommended. It's not structured in any way, shape, or form. It's entirely um, freeform. What happens, happens, and only the hashtags get repeated on a platform where there is a public record. And even then, the hashtags are not attributed, so you never know who said what. Let's see. I really don't know if I can keep going much further. My mind is drawing a blank because I've been working a little bit more than I am comfortable. I've been suffering from cramps in my hands from assembling stovepipe for 2 days straight. Um, got firewood cut up. Uh, got the yard to mow. Got tree branches to haul into the woods and put on a brush pile that eventually just kind of decays down into a berm to keep the rain from washing the back of my yard away. Come on, moth, get away from my drink. So the last thing I want is a moth in my drink. Um, oh. Well, I believe that's about it for the night, folks. Um, I'm going to play the advert for Aphelion. In case you didn't know, I've been running an amateur writing magazine. Um, for the past 28 years now. Uh, Science fiction, fantasy, a little bit of horror. People send us stories. Me and some volunteers do a little editing, make it into web pages, which is basically just simple HTML code. And then every month, except for December, no, except for January, we put out a new issue. So there is no new issue every January, but we put out a double size greatest hits of the year issue in December to hold people over till the February issue comes out. Um, it's been a great deal of fun. We've been able to gift the world with well over 500 writers now who have turned pro, and now they're getting paid for their work. Now, Aphelion can't pay. I refuse to run ads. I don't take donations. It's strictly there as a permanent floating writer's workshop. Once you start selling your work to the pro markets and you make money yourself, that's the moment we dread because we know you really can't afford to send us anything else. But it also is the moment that makes us the most proud that we have been doing this for so long. Um, it's fun, it's good reading, and we've got a archive of stories that goes back 28 years. Almost everything we've ever published, the only time we remove something from the archive is when the writer sends us a message going, hey, I'm about to sell this, but you're going to have to take it down off the website or that'll interfere with my sales. So we do. If there's something that's missing, it's because somebody turned pro and we had to take it offline. Not a problem. You start getting a paycheck, because me and the other folks have been able to help you learn enough to where a publisher thinks you're ready for the big time. Oh, I'm so proud. I am so proud. Like I said, no ads, no membership fees, no nothing. You just go to the website, start reading, enjoy. Seriously, enjoy. It's the best thing that I can do for you. If you want to go over on Amazon and give me some money for books, or I recommend ebooks, but it's because I don't have any more room in the house for physical bookcases. I do get physical books from time to time, and Lord, yes, I do love them, but it's much easier for me to carry around a little reading tablet than it is to figure out how to add more walls in the house for me to put bookshelves up on. If you ever see photographs of the house, you'll think it's built out of bookshelves, because it pretty much is. I've been collecting books since I was 7 or 8 years old, so 60 years. It's been a long, fun, and exciting ride, and I'm not through yet. So here's the ad for Aphelion. It's only about 40 seconds long, and then I'm just going to run the bedtime story and close out the show. Didn't even make it to an entire hour because my voice is getting a little bit dry, and I have more fun when I have more guests to bounce conversations off of. Well, here's Aphelion. Hello, I'm Dan Hollifield. I'm the senior editor and publisher of Aphelion Webzine, the world's oldest free creative writing e-zine since 1997. Since then, we have helped over 500 amateur writers learn what they needed to turn pro. www.aphelion-webzine.com and read not only what we've got going on right now, but 28 years worth of our archives of stories. Thank you very much.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.